What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Butterloo channel. Today we are doing our first tier list video, and in today's video we are going to be ranking every single NBA team from S, A, B, C, D. Okay, so we're going to go in order, and it will definitely change because as you can see the Philadelphia 76ers are here, and I'm going to put them in the A tier. Just because going into next season, they still have a good roster. I'm not going to put them into S tier like a lot of people did last year. I don't know if they're that good, but I think they're a good team, and I think they have a shot at making the Eastern Conference Finals. Next, we have the Wizards. I'm going to put them in a B tier. With a team with Russell Westbrook and a Bradley Beal, you can't really be in one of these tiers because you're probably going to make the playoffs, whether they're the 6th seed, the 8th seed. It doesn't really matter. That's kind of the B tier range. And actually, before I continue, that's what I'm trying to say is that S tier range is like finals winners. Like, I could see them winning the finals. A tier range is finals contenders, but probably not the favorites. B tiers are playoff teams. C tier is below average teams, so like 10th, 11th seed. And D tier is like worst teams in the NBA. Now, there might be a lot of Western Conference teams in B tier just because I don't really know how it's going to go this year with like 12 teams that could make the playoffs in the Western Conference. But let's keep going. The Atlanta Hawks, I think they're in the same place as the Washington Wizards. A nice B tier team. Could be the 9th seed, could be the 6th seed. It does that like little end of the playoffs is on the Eastern Conference is a little bit weird. The Cavaliers, I'm going to put them in D tier. I don't think they have a shot at making the playoffs. And, yeah, they might move up. Detroit, I have to put Detroit in D tier as well. They're just not the team they once were. And they're, they're just, like, rebuilding. They traded Drummond. They're probably going to trade Rose this year. They let Luke Kennard, they let Christian Wood go. They traded Luke Kennard. Like, they blew it up. They signed 16 centers, so they have to go there. So the Indiana Pacers, I'm thinking they're like, if there was a tier between these two, that's where they would go. But I think I'm gonna put them in B tier for now. But depending on the teams in A tier and B tier, I might move them up. Just because they've been a 4 to 5 seed for the past couple years. Milwaukee, S tier, you can't really explain. Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago, they have the back-to-back MVP. They've added Drew Holiday. They've added Bobby Portis and Torrey Craig and all those guys coming off their bench. Next, Toronto. I'm going to put Toronto in the A tier. I think they're in that same range as Philly where they can do really good or they can do what Philly did last year and just lose in the first round. It's very odd, but I think it's going to happen. Dallas, I'm going to put in the A tier. I think Dallas is going to take a very big jump this year. I'm not saying S tier, but I think they could make a push for the conference finals this year if they really put their mind to it. Denver, I'm going to put Denver in the A tier as well. I think Denver is probably one of the teams that might go up to S tier. But, yeah, Denver's just a really good team. They've been that way, and I'm ready for a jump from Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, maybe one of those two will be an all-star this year. Most likely Jamal Murray out of the two. With Jokic, that's a pretty good big three with defenders. They brought back Paul Millsap. So Minnesota, I'm going to put Minnesota in the C tier. I just think they're below average. They're not quite in that playoffs yet. That's all I got to say. Same thing with Memphis. I don't think they're a playoff team right now. I just think that they're not, in the spot to make the playoffs. I'm going to put San Antonio, and this might be disrespectful, in the D tier right now. Not because San Antonio is a bad team right now, but just because I can't put San Antonio where Memphis and Minnesota are. Memphis and Minnesota have a much higher chance of making the playoffs than San Antonio. You can see San Antonio's rebuild has started, but with Pop on their team, anything can happen. So, don't be surprised if they're here. But I'm going to put them here just because of where I think they're going to be. Utah is going to go in the B tier. Just been a solid team. Now the Western Conference is getting really stacked. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs this year. Clippers, and let's get the Lakers out of the way as well, are going to go in the S tier. They're stacked. They got stacked in 2019, and they still have the same rosters. Good additions for both teams this year. Clippers getting Serge Ibaka, and the Lakers and Luke Kennard and Lakers getting Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Marcus All, Wesley Matthews. Phoenix, I'm going to put in the B tier. I think Phoenix, in my opinion, is going to be like an 8-9 seed this year. And yeah, Portland, I'm going to put Portland here. I think Portland's in that same situation as like Toronto, where they could get bounced in the first round or they could make the conference finals. It's a little bit weird, but they can. Sacramento, I'm going to put them in the C tier for now, but they could go down to the D tier. There's not much to say. It just really depends on how their coaching is. They didn't really they added Tyrese Halliburton, which is good, but they didn't trade Buddy Hield, so I don't really know how it's going to go next year. New York, they've been the same team for the past couple of years. Gotta hope that they can draft somebody big 2021. Hopefully Obi Toppin goes good for them. Emmanuel Quickley, those guys. New Orleans, I'm going to put New Orleans in the C tier. I think Zion, Ingram, they're all great players, but I can't put them in this tier where, maybe 6 through 8 seed, and I think they're not going to make the playoffs. I think these two teams have a higher chance of making the playoffs than the Pelicans. And I think a lot of people are high on the Pelicans. Like, I've seen Zion be like 21 in top 100 lists, and that's like crazy to me. Hornets, I'm going to put them, if there was a D plus tier, that's where they would go. But I'm going to put them in the C tier. I think LaMelo could take a big jump, but because I'm putting them here, I'm going to put New Orleans and Memphis here as well. Yeah, I think Charlotte's is going to take a really big jump. And yeah, that's about it. And then for Houston and Miami, I'm going to put them, if James Harden is on this team, they're here. They're here. If James Harden is not, they're probably here. So, and then with Miami, they're like here, but I wouldn't call them finals contenders. Even as a Miami Heat fan, I'm going to put them in the A tier. I'm going to put them front of the A tier, then probably like Denver, then Dallas, and then like these guys. Like that, probably. I'll put them in order at the end. Chicago, I can see Chicago taking a big jump with the addition of Patrick Williams and their second-round picks. But I'm going to put them in the D tier as well. I don't think they're much different from Cavs and Detroit. Brooklyn, S tier. I see a lot of people put them in their top, in like 5th seed. I think Brooklyn's going to be the 2 seed, 2 or 3 seed. It doesn't even matter because they have KD and Kyrie Irving. Thunder, D team, but if we're going based on how your season's going, they're going to go in S, but their team overall, like where I think they're going to be sitting at this year, is it's going to have to be at D. Next team, we're going to have the Golden State Warriors. They're probably going to be around here in the playoffs, but like I'm going to put them here. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know what seed, but probably not a high one. Boston, A tier, not much to explain, just made the conference finals. Orlando, I'm going to put Orlando. We need one more Eastern team to make it kind of like bottom seeds. And so let me arrange how I think this is going to go quickly. So S tier, I think it's going to be Lakers, Bucks, Clippers, Brooklyn. A tier, I think it's going to be, I did A tier. Actually, no, Celtics are going to move up to Philly, Dallas area. B tier, I'm going to put like that. I'm going to put Indiana, then probably like Golden State, then probably Utah, Phoenix, then we have these two, then Memphis, New Orleans, Magic. These two are interchangeable, just so you know. C tier, C tier is a weird tier. It's like could potentially make the playoffs, but probably won't. And then D tier, let's go like that. Like that? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so that was my rankings. I'm going to go over it one more time, and I'm going to see if there's anything that I don't agree with. The only thing, actually, now that I'm looking at it, that I don't agree with is the Houston placement. Do we put Houston down here? Do we put Houston up here? I don't know. It's like Houston has a couple ranges, and then some of these teams, these back-end teams, I feel like they're better than these teams, and I think Charlotte deserves to be in C tier. So I'm going to put Orlando down, put Orlando at the top of this tier, and I think that would be kind of like C+. So this is like D plus, C plus, B plus, A plus, S plus, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not this order exactly of the top 30 teams, but I'm trying to make it kind of like what range they would be in. So I don't think that Miami could go as far down as this, but I think Miami can be at 5 or Miami can be like 10, you know. But I think Miami is a top 10 team, and I think the Thunder is the worst team, and I think Chicago's a bottom 5 team. I got to agree. Maybe even this, just because OKC has Shea. I don't know. Leave your opinions down below in the comments. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you all another time.